Hi there guys, Tom Quayle here, back for sound effects in Ormskirk. Today we are checking out something which just is ticking every single gear acquisition syndrome box that's going, basically. I really want one of these. This is the Chase Bliss Audio Preamp MKII. And first of all, this is a really cool looking device, but secondly, this is something that has got some very unique features, combining a Benson preamp, very famous preamp with a particular tonal quality to it that people, is kind of across the board beloved by everyone who's used one. Combining that with some very unique features in terms of a fuzz, a clipping circuit that can be germanium or silicon. We've also got a parametric EQ, fully parametric EQ on here in terms of the, well, fully parametric mids anyway, I should say. And then we've got the controls from the actual preamp itself. So the volume, treble, bass and gain that you would find on a standard Benson preamp that was built into some amplifiers back in the day. I think the Chimera was one of the amplifiers this was built into, if I remember correctly. But not only all of those features, this is the first pedal I've seen that does this. This blows my mind. How cool is that? Motorized faders. Now, the only other place I've seen motorized faders used is in studio desks. So a lot of the desks I've used in the past, or you'll see in recording studios, have motorized faders for things like recall of parameters or automation of parameters, that kind of thing. So you can do automated fades, so on and so forth, or recall particular parameters. To have it in a pedal like this is really cool because the faders, unlike knobs, give you very easy to read parameter kind of dialing in, if you like, and to see where your parameters are at all times. And you will learn from left to right what each of these parameters mean. So we've got volume, treble, the mid, boost or cut, the frequency, the bass and the gain. And at a glance, you can see where all of those are set. Now, we've seen lots of pedals on the market that will allow you to dial in various different settings, but those settings are not reflected when you change to a different preset. The dials will be wherever they were set for the previous preset. Now, internally, they'll all update, but the pots themselves don't. In this case, we have these motorized faders so that when I change to another preset, all of the parameters are updated and we can see exactly what's going on with the volume, treble, mids, bass, and gain. Really cool. I mean, this is just a fantastic game changer in terms of being able to see what's going on and really dial in your sounds. Now, along the bottom here, we have some extra controls for various different parameters. We have a jump control. Now, this controls the presets. So essentially, there's 30 presets spread across 3 banks of 10 presets that we can store here. Full MIDI functionality. So although you switch presets using this foot switch here, and you've got to cycle through those 10 different sounds, hold down to change banks, a little LED comes on, hold down green LED, so we've got 3 different banks. LED goes back off, we're back onto the original bank. Although you have to cycle through using this foot switch, if you've got something like an ES8 and ES5 from Boss, or a Gig Rig G2, or any kind of MIDI device like a Morningstar, for instance, you can switch to any preset you want. The jump button allows us to jump very quickly. Let's say we're on preset 3 here, to jump back to either preset 0, okay, and then go cycle through, or we can jump to preset 5. And this allows us to very quickly jump between 2 presets. If you only want to use 2, let's say you wanted a clean boost and a fuzz, for instance. So that allows you to do that, which is a very nice feature. Something that's, for guys who are not using MIDI, will be a very appreciated kind of setup for them. Then we've got our mids functionality here. Now this is spread across 2 controls and obviously 2 faders as well. So I said this is a fully parametric EQ, not EQ, sorry, mid EQ. Because the control here, we've got a Q control for sort of determining the width of our mids frequency. So we can either have, again, all of these different LEDs, blue or red will determine the width of the frequency. And when it's off, it's a wide frequency range. And then we've got a medium and a small frequency range. And then that is combined with the mids boost and cut and the frequency. So in the middle position, roughly the middle, we've got 0 dB, and then we can plus 15 and minus 15. And then the frequency range, I think in the mids sense, goes from 150 Hertz all the way up to 4K. So your low mids all the way up to your high mids. I think that's right. And then we've got this pre and post section. So the mids control allows you to turn the mids off, have them pre the preamp, and then as in the Benson preamp, and then post the preamp as well. So that allows for various different kind of tonal shaping. And also bear in mind, if it's pre the preamp and we boost the mids, we're actually pushing the front end of the preamp, which will offer you more gain as well, which is a nice feature to have. Then when it's off like that, we've got no mids engaged, so these controls don't do anything. We then have our clipping diode on here, and we've got off, then we have a silicon diode, and then a germanium diode in there as well. And of course, all of these things can be stored per preset, which is super, super cool. LEDs are very easy to read on stage. They've chosen very wise colors for dark stages. And then we have our fuzz section, which is my favorite. This fuzz sounds so, so good. It really, really does. This fuzz section basically allows us to have an open fuzz. Oops, sorry, moving it there, guys. An open fuzz, or super cool, a gated fuzz, which sounds and feels very, very cool to play. It's got this really nice spitty kind of sound that we want from our fuzzes. Then we can turn that off. The only other switch on here is the bypass switch. And yeah, that is it basically. There's obviously the LED there that tells us when the unit is on or off. Now the switches are non-latching, so they feel very, very nice to use. And the whole design, as you can see, we've got this wooden kind of outline on the edge, or, you know, serious chunk of wood on here, and then this lovely, lovely kind of brushed chassis on here. Everything feels really, really nice. One thing that takes a little bit of getting used to is because these are motorized, there's not a lot of resistance going on when you actually utilize them. You'd think there might be because they're motorized, but there isn't. But they're very accurate. You know, they feel very nice to use, and the whole unit feels great. It is expensive, but of course, for the feature set that you've got here, including the fact that you've got a proper sort of authentic Benson preamp in here, which has got a very particular very kind of loved tonal characteristic to it. That's a nice thing. On the top here, just to mention the I/O, we've got standard mono in and out. Obviously, it's not stereo. There's no point, no reason for that. We've got MIDI integration, as I mentioned, and then we have an expression pedal input as well. Now, any of the parameters can be mapped to the expression pedal. It's very easy to do. To get into the expression mode, just hold, I think it's the bypass switch down that allows you to get into expression mode, and then assign using the faders to any of the particular faders or controls that you would want to assign to the expression pedal, which is very, very nice indeed. And then a standard sense negative DC input, which is 500 milliamps. So even with all of this stuff going on with the motorized faders, it's just running off a standard 9-volt power supply. I think we're just using the standard Boss style power supply here, which is very cool. So we'll have a listen to it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run through some of the presets. So my clean tone that I'm utilizing, I will play that first. I'm not going to do any more talking. I'm just going to run you through the presets, and then I'll have a quick fiddle with the mids control as well on a separate playing clip. The signal chain here, I'm actually running into a Fractal Audio AX8, which is running a Fender Deluxe Reverb with a 1x12 Fender Deluxe Reverb matching cab, which is mic'd up with an SM57 and a Roy 121 simulation. And there's a little bit of room reverb just to give it some space, and also a little bit of analog delay mixed in as well, but hopefully not so much that it's going to offend anybody. And yeah, let's have a listen to how it sounds. Clean tone coming first. So there we go, guys. That is the fantastic Chase Bliss Audio Preamp MKII. What a pedal. If I thought I could get away with it, I would definitely be taking this home with me, but there's no way I can get away with it, unfortunately, so it's going to have to stay here. But you guys can do the usual thing. Click the link in the description below of the video and you can check out the Chase Bliss Audio Preamp MKII and obviously purchase one direct from Sound Effects in Ormskirk. Come into the shop if you want to as well, check it out. It's a really, really fantastic thing. I know there's going to be a lot of you out there gassing hard for this thing, and that includes me too. So as usual, hit the like and subscribe buttons below and hit the bell notification icon to make sure that every time Sound Effects upload a video, you are notified and you can increase the gas. So there we go, guys. My name's Tom Quayle. Hope you enjoyed this run through of the Chase Bliss Audio Preamp MKII, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.